let's talk about the real reason why we brought you here, the Boozer brothers. All right.
Everyone who's a father win a fourth consecutive championship. Tyler Herro and Emmanuel Quickley. From what I've seen, Bronny,
Put the Flagg thoughts on him.
kid's definitely a pick.
Today we have Andrew Moran, head coach of Columbus basketball, also founder of Miami Hoops. Thank you, brother, for allowing us to come to your beautiful facility.
Yeah, appreciate you guys having me.
Yeah, man, I was really looking forward to this because you're probably the hottest coach right now in the country, I would say, in high school and probably all of basketball. The run that you guys have gone on at Columbus is truly impressive. Tell us a little bit how you started your basketball coaching career.
Well, originally I started at Miami High as an assistant under Marcus Carreño, which I really enjoyed. His brothers are one of my best friends, so I was able to jump on staff there and really learn. You know, obviously Miami High has a rich history in basketball, especially here in Miami, with talented players and being just top teams in the state, and not only the state, but top teams nationally. And I just learned, you know, the type of work that they would put in there, the work ethic, the attention to detail that you really needed to really grow your program. So that's really where I started my coaching. I ended up leaving for a little bit there, coaching, and just my wife had gotten pregnant, and I was just like, oh, I'm gonna spend some more time. And what I had also been doing on the side was some of the personal training, and then I got it, more people were reaching out, and it just began to grow, and I really fell in love with that part of the game, just the individual development, and that just kind of grew. And obviously you have this facility now, but it just kind of grew organically with word of mouth. I was training out of a friend's backyard for probably 3 years, you know, until I was able to start renting out facilities and then having my own facility. But really my coaching, specifically team coaching, started at Miami High alongside Marcus Carreño.
Right, so you do training for pro athletes. Is that how you started?
Yeah. Oh, I started with kids.
You started with
kids
first,
really
okay.
started with kids, just getting my name out there, and some of the you know, up and coming young players that wanted to improve their game. I was able to really kind of get to know them and really understand how I can help them improve in their individual team. You know, not everyone's going to play at the highest level, but I would go to their games, and I really invested my time in those kids that I was training, and tried to really help them be effective in those teams. Because as a coach, you know, now that I coach and train, it's helped me to become better in both, because you see both sides, right? Coach, when you go to a team, you do have a role. Now, sure, sometimes your role can grow, but so as a trainer, I was able to understand, okay, how can I help these kids best play their best in that specific role that their coach is asking them to play in. So, you know, the training kind of grew organically. I fell in love with it. Eventually, after probably about 5 or 6 years, I was able to kind of get into areas where people recommended me to coach and train pros. And then from there, word of mouth. And, you know, I had great people like Octavio De La Grana, who's an assistant on the Heat. I'm good friends with his son. And he sent a few guys and really helped me grow there. My first guy I ever trained with was Mario Chalmers. Okay. Which was great. Obviously, a Miami Heat guy.
Did you get him right out of Kansas, or?
No. He'd already been in the NBA for a while, and he would put a, you know, I had the opportunity to work with him a little bit in the off season, and kind of like grow in that area and see what pros are looking for in their workouts and what they're trying to prepare for in the next seasons.
Were you intimidated?
I don't know if I was intimidated. I was a bit nervous in the beginning,
yeah,
you know, just trying to make sure I'm prepared enough to really do and prepare them for what they're looking for, you know. So I was nervous, but I also came with an open mind, and I had a plan, but also wanted to hear what they wanted to focus on and try to mix those together. And then obviously over time, just understanding I think the best thing for me is I always understood every time I went up a level, or whether it was in coaching or training, I really needed to better myself, and I really needed to search out people that could help me improve. So me to be able to connect with NBA teams, or connect with other NBA trainers, or connect with NBA coaches to really understand how I can help the players. And I think that's what allowed allowed my growth as a trainer and also as myself as a high school coach as I moved up, you know, levels even in high school and really playing the top teams in the country and really understanding like, hey, okay, you're going to these, yes, you have talented players, but you really have to be prepared because every other team has talented players and every other team has a really good coach.
Sure.
Hey, since we're talking about training, I can justify that you're a good trainer.
Yeah.
I mean, one time you actually took care of me for a week, taught me how to pound. I mean, you did the impossible. I started hitting my layups because of you.
I remember.
But we know those are not easy to hit for me.
Well, we know you get out to those camps, so we wanted to make sure you were prepared to do your thing, and you've won a couple championships.
We did won plenty of championships. So I want to ask you a question. What would you say is your specialty when it comes to training players? What do you say is the best thing you could bring to them when you're doing those one-on-ones with the players?
Specifically skill-wise, I really think that I can help guys, I mean, in all areas, but I really love to focus on the shooting. That's where I really enjoy it. I mean, that's what I feel like I did best in my game, and I feel like just learning over time from different NBA shooting coaches and understanding every player's different and everybody's body's different. It's not always going to look the same. But I think in terms of specific skill, I would say shooting would be my favorite. But my thing in training, I think, the most thing is just kind of giving those players confidence, especially kids. I want the kids to walk out not just feeling confident as a basketball player, but feeling confident as a person.
Why did I get so much from you helping me learn how to pound the ball? Why was that so effective? What does that do? What does that do for your game?
I think that's the foundation of handling the basketball, having a strong dribble, building strength in your handle. Just understanding where the power comes from, and obviously you're not going to pound the ball in the basketball in the game all the time, but understanding that specific drills help with specific areas and strengthen your ball handling, you know. So
who's your favorite NBA star that you have trained that you felt like they bring it every single time? I mean, I don't want to get you in trouble with anybody. I don't want you to, you know, if you don't feel comfortable, don't answer it, but who would you say you really enjoyed training? Like you were impressed every time you saw this person out there?
Well, I'll tell you what, there's two specific guys that you almost have to ask them to tone it down because they were so hungry to get to a certain level and they wanted to just work. But when you get into the NBA, the season is long. The off season is pretty long as well, and you don't want players to tire themselves out because they got to be ready for the season. But two young guys that I got early, really young in their career that you kind of have to ask them to slow down a little bit would be Tyler Herro and Emmanuel Quickley.
Oh, very nice.
They'll live in the gym if it means that their game just continues to elevate. And again, I think, you know, it's fun as you watch the younger guys and you watch the veterans, right? I've been training Tim Hardaway for 6 years, you know, and our training has changed over time. It's not the same, you know. I'm not really adding so many things to his game rather than just continue to sharpen those things and then also get to areas as his career extends where he can find ways to be effective, you know.
When you were training these guys, did you ever catch yourself saying, "Oh shit, this is not normal"? Like this just not normal?
Well, I think that's on the regular, you know. I think every summer, especially my partner George, when we have conversations, we
are we talking about Russia?
Yeah. We just kind of talk back and forth, you know, because we got a lot of guys now. Sometimes we split up. Sometimes he's training them. Sometimes I am. So just seeing certain things that, you know, I would say mostly their understanding of the game and the way they see it and how they see it, you know, 2 and 3 plays ahead of what's going on, and just the things that they can do with the basketball.
Do you ever feel like you learn something from them?
Absolutely, yeah. I think that's the best part about it, you know, and that you learn from them, you learn from all the players, and certain things you can take from players to help other guys, you know, and also help me as a coach understanding high-level players and how to speak to them and how to kind of tap in where they're reaching their highest potential and where they're feeling the most confident.
I also think you've done an amazing job with your Instagram page. You know, we're talking about how'd you grow your business. I remember 8-10 years ago when you first started your page, there was a couple of young guys on there. You know, I had my kid at the time who was around the same age, and you see all these kids doing these things, and you're like, okay, I got to take my kid to Andrew. So kudos to you for, you know, marketing yourself, marketing your Instagram page, because I know you got a lot of customers through that page.
Definitely. Yeah, so as I watch other pages grow and just kind of learning on my own, like specifically consistent posts were the most important. And then also when you're showing young players being able to do certain things and handle the ball, and I'm sure it was enticing to other players and parents say, I want this, maybe this will help my kid out as well. And just consistently posting and then doing different kinds of posts. We're kind of, at this moment, we're kind of in the middle of kind of changing the way we do posts. Right now, we've just kind of been posting pros and different parts of their workout, but I want it to be a little more interactive. Obviously, even the podcast, as you see, they get a lot more engagement just because you kind of talk about personal things. People love to hear stories. So we're in kind of like that third gear of growth where we're trying to find ways to continue to provide value to the people that are following us.
Talking about stories, you got a good story for us from any of your training practices or workouts that you might share with us and be like, wow, this day, look what happened. You have anything that comes to mind?
Man.
Give us a good story. Give us a juicy story. Something the rest of us don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I know during the pandemic, I don't know if this is a juicy story, but, you know, I had a chance to work with Tyler, and Tyler was putting in, 2-a-days during that whole time where everyone was off and we were coming in here. This was like the only place open. Obviously, we weren't really supposed to be doing, but he was in here putting the work in, and then it was just, for me, it was pretty awesome because he went into the bubble and he went crazy.
Yeah,
you know,
he lit it up.
So he put his
and
name on the map.
Obviously, testament to the work we put in, but man, testament to his work ethic and his focus, and his, trying to find a way to continue to be in the gym and then being ready for the moment. So for me, I don't know if that's a juicy story, but for me, that's like the most gratifying, as you saw the work that he put in, and then you saw it show in the game.
I think everybody, at least in South Florida, saw those videos of him working out with you.
Yeah.
Whether it was in here, whether it was at Jose's house.
Yeah.
Everybody was like, where's that court, right?
Yeah.
Your boy's court. And I think everybody saw those videos, and we were all like, wow, this guy's putting in time. I remember, I think he even actually put on some muscle around that time, right?
Yeah, definitely. No, he was working hard. So I think, like I said, the most gratifying thing for me is when you're working with a player, whether it's a pro or a kid, and you get to go to a game and you could see the confidence in their game because of the work that they put in. And I think that's what it's all about, specifically with kids, man. I believe, like I said earlier, and I tell all the guys that train under me, I want the kid to be feeling good about his game, but I want him to walk out feeling very confident about himself as a person, because those kids are going to go into life later. Not everyone's going to play a long career in basketball, and they may have to jump into other things. And I want them to walk into whatever it is they got to do and feel confident doing that, just because of the work ethic, learning the work ethic from the game, and then learning to kind of have that positive self-talk, which I've learned over my time as a coach, because coaching is a up and down road, and there's a lot of emotions and there's a lot going on, and I want to go home at the end of the day and focus on my family. And sometimes it's hard because your emotions are high and you got so many things on your mind. So I want to have positive self-talk with myself, and really, we can be negative with ourselves a lot. So I over time and in this coaching career, I think that's been the biggest thing for me, and also the support from my wife.
Well, you mentioned your wife, you mentioned your family. Can you tell us a little bit about your family, which I happen to know?
Well, I've been married 15 years. I got married in 2012.
Don't worry, we'll edit the part where you're thinking.
Got married in 2012.
You're good.
Nah,
we got this.
December 20th, 2012. We got 4 kids. My oldest is 11. She plays soccer and volleyball. I got boy-girl twins that are 8. Just really adventurous, especially my son, like going out catching iguanas like 4 feet. I think I showed you a picture.
Yeah, you did.
Well, it's crazy. He wants me to help him catch. I'll be like, well, I'll help you corral it, but you're the one jumping on it. I'm not touching it.
I love watching you. You see me out there on Saturdays, sometimes Sundays at the soccer games, Friday nights, whatever. I love the way you support your kids. You know, I know you got a lot of things going on, but you're still making the time to make sure that they see you on the sidelines when they're playing.
And it's definitely hard, you know. Especially even like now, my preseason, I'm doing a lot of traveling, but being able to get to their games, get to my son Dylan's twin sister likes dancing and doing kind of like gymnastics and learning. Even if she doesn't have a specific event, I'm in the backyard watching her do her flips. We got a trampoline. They're flipping into the pool. And then my little guy, Jalen, who's 5.
Jalen's got a nice haircut, by the way.
Yeah, it's great. I don't know where his genes came from because
from their mama.
That guy's ripped. I went to a party once and it was a pool party and this mom was like, he has a lot of muscles. Do you make him do push-ups? I was like, nah, he's 5 years old. Like I'm not making him do anything, you know. But I love my kids. We have a good time. We've been able to do even some family trips, so that was good for us this past
Do they enjoy coming to the games? Do they enjoy interacting with the players?
Yeah, definitely. We went up to a tournament in New Jersey in March, I think. And the whole family went this time, which they don't always get to travel with us. And I took the boys on the bus. One of my sons gets to sit on the bench with us, and he really loves it. I think he really enjoys it. They love interacting with the players. The players enjoyed it. So for me, that was pretty awesome. I would like to bring them around a little more, you know?
Well, that's enough about you. Let's talk about the real reason why we brought you here, the Boozer brothers, all right? Okay? We appreciate you telling us about you, but now everybody wants to know about the Boozer brothers and what's going to happen this year with Columbus.
Man, our goal is to we got our goals set in place. We want to win our 4th consecutive state championship, and we want to win a national championship. We want to win the it used to be called Geico. It's now called Chipotle Nationals. Last year we were invited for the first time in school history. We lost in the semifinal to Montverde, which was, man, they were the top team last year. They were, I mean, a well-oiled machine. They were strong in all positions, and they really played well together. But our goal this year is to do the same. We want to win again our 4th consecutive championship and get to Chipotle's and compete and hopefully bring it home.
Did you add any new players this year?
Yeah, we added a couple guys. Keeper Jackson, 6'7" wing. We added Marcellus Jackson, not related, but
okay.
Yeah, we got 2 Jacksons last name, and then we have Jackson Richardson.
Yeah, right.
But Marcellus, another guard, playmaking guard, really going to help us out. Passes the ball well, makes plays, and can score. You know, create for himself. And then we also brought in Eric. He's
France.
a kid from France, 6'10", big.
Wow.
We're really excited about him, just because we haven't really had a traditional big, and it's going to allow for Cameron to do so many different things, and Caden and Jackson Richardson, just because, I mean, the guy's a great screen setter, a great rebounder, a great defender, finishing around the rim, understands the game, especially a pro-style game because he played in Europe, being able to handle the ball on the perimeter and set ball screens and find guys in the handoff, and he passes the ball pretty well. So we're excited about him. Obviously returning, we got Cameron and Caden Boozer and Jackson Richardson, and also MJ Fanane.
I want you to explain to the people what makes the Boozer brothers so special. What do they have that you have seen like, wow, this is special? I see something that I don't see every day. What would you say they have?
I would say their approach and preparation for the game.
Wow.
At such a young age, and their willingness to win. Yes, you know, everyone wants to be able to score, but just their drive for winning and playing to win and really their focus. I remember freshman year when they were freshmen. We're going into our first regional final with them. And Cam sends me a text, oh, what have you seen in the film? Like, oh, I'm working on it right now.
And he's a freshman.
He's a freshman. I was like, oh, I'm working on the film. I'll send it to you. Why? What do you got? He's like, oh, I made a few timestamps.
This kid's studying film.
Timestamps. He could have been like, oh, I watched a couple of weeks at times. Send me what you got. And he sends me, it's a list of 15 different situations or set plays with the time it happened in the game next to it. Wow. This is a 14-year-old, because he was 14 as a freshman. As a 14-year-old, the detailed specifics of it, if he knew how the coach called it, whether there was a hand signal, he wrote it. If he heard it on the film, he wrote it.
Wow.
So again, I think start their preparation and their will to win, and then they just see plays ahead of the game.
Right. Who would you compare their game to in the NBA?
I don't like to do individual comparisons. Usually I take a few things. I love the speed in which Caden plays in transition. A lot of people have compared that to Jason Kidd and some Westbrook.
Okay.
But I love Caden's ability to play in the pick and roll, and I see a lot of similarities to Jamal Murray.
Okay.
Especially because Jamal gets to his mid-range, and that's really something that Caden has really built his game upon. And even though the game has kind of gone away from mid-range,
I was going to ask you that. Yeah, the mid-range is kind of a thing of the past.
For him, it's kind of helped him get his start.
Right.
And now he's knocking in threes, but you could even college NBA want to go away from mid-range, and they'll talk about it. But if you watch the playoffs, a lot of the only shots available were mid-range shots because everyone's trying to take away the three-point shot. But those would be some of my comparisons. And then with Cam, just his versatility it's insane. His ability to, when we play teams and they put the big on him, I mean, they can't handle him on the perimeter, whether he's getting to his shot or getting all the way to the rim or playing in the pick and roll. And then he does a great job of taking advantage of undersized guys and getting to not just the low post, but even getting to the mid post. Showing a little bit of a mid post game, which a lot of guys in the NBA have that. Paul George, Carmelo was probably one of the best in the mid post. What we did with him though is we showed him a lot of Paolo Banchero film.
Okay.
They kind of have a similar build. And we wanted him to just learn to create and from the perimeter, and like I said, with the addition of Eric, that allows Cam to play more on the perimeter and be more perimeter oriented and prepare him for those next levels.
Sure.
But I would say for him, strictly there's some Paolo Banchero, but we show him a lot of different film, and the ability and the good thing about, obviously, I have the ability to work with NBA guys, and we also set up NBA runs, and they've been able to play with NBA guys since freshmen. So I think that's been huge for them. And I think for me, coaching them specifically, because I had learned to communicate and understand high-level players and players that had, goals that are way up here, I think early on I was able to communicate with them in different ways because I kind of understood what already their mind was thinking. They're not pros yet, but they have a mindset of a pro in terms of how they want to prepare and how they want to play.
I like to share a story. I remember going to one of your games. I think it was their sophomore year, and I kept hearing about the brothers. So I finally had to go. So then I get there and I'm sitting down, and I got Duke, Georgia Tech, George Washington. I mean, all these scouts, like head coaches, sitting right next to me, and they were just shaking their head. Every time one of the brothers would make a play, they'd just kind of look at each other and go, and I could hear them. These are the two best players in the country.
Yeah.
Right? Tell the people. Well, for me, I almost felt like I wanted to be there more than a Heat game, right? A lot easier to go to, a lot cheaper to go to,
Yeah.
right? And the atmosphere was electric.
Nah, when we were playing at Columbus and we played those top teams, let me tell you, man, the atmosphere in the gym. My favorite one is when we played Camden. We played Camden High School at Columbus. It had DJ Wagner, DeJuan Wagner's
I was
son.
there for that
Yeah.
game. That's the game.
They had another top kid there that
They had a 7-footer, right?
Yeah, went to play at Kentucky and is also, I think, now at Arkansas as well. But I mean, that game was insane.
It was insane.
And when, some people were like, oh, the game, a lot of times the other team's warming up and everyone picks the other team because we don't, I mean, yes, we have some good players, but they had a lot of talent. And I think not too many people picked us to win. But we really played well that game and dominated the game. But for me, when I'm watching my team, obviously I'm coaching, but sometimes you're sitting there watching, and the plays that they make are pretty incredible. There was one play we played in this tournament in Atlanta, and Cameron set a pick for, Caden set a ball screen for Cam. They kind of blitzed it, and he hit Cam in the short roll. Cam turned right away, and he saw, you remember Malik?
Yeah.
He saw Malik cutting, and he just threw it, and I was like, oh, what's this guy? This is a terrible pass. But Malik flies, so he went up and got it. It was just, it was impressive. And then what I enjoy the most is the way we defend. When we're defending at the highest level, you're just impressed by how hard your players are playing. For me, that's the most gratifying, when you see your guys just really competing and fighting, and that's always fun to watch.
Well, I definitely 100% recommend it to the people who live in South Florida. Come watch a game. It's electric. It's
great.
electric, and it's not expensive.
And you don't always get this type of players that you get to come watch at this stage in their career, and it's like you said, you should come out and watch.
And I encourage you to bring your kids. Right? You don't even know. You might never be able to see these guys play live.
Right.
And now you get a chance to watch them now.
Yeah.
And it's right here in South Florida. It doesn't cost a whole lot. So I'm encouraging everyone to come out and watch, to watch the show, because I think it's a show.
Yeah.
I mean, you're just waiting for a dunk. You're waiting for alley-oop. You're waiting for an assist. You're waiting for the big man to shoot a three, or a pass.
Yeah.
Like everything they do, you're like, oh.
Yeah,
So-
basketball's changed a lot since we were in high school, and he played at Braddock. We were lucky if we even hit a three-pointer at Braddock. So these kids are dunking.
I mean, speak for yourself, buddy. I hit 7 against Barbara Goldman. So
Yeah, Barbara
There you
Goldman.
go.
Oh,
A bunch
7
of 5'8"
points.
Cubans.
Nah, I think the tallest Cubans come out of Braddock. Though.
Yeah.
They
100%.
always seem
Braddock.
to have
Yeah,
like
Braddock.
a 6'5", 6'6"
Yeah, they do.
Cuban over there.
How do you get a 6'10" center from France?
Yeah.
Well, remember I also coached the Boozers in their travel team, which is Night Riders, and at this stage in the game, the players want to play. The top players want to play at a high level and want to play against the top players. So we've made a name for ourselves in the country, and this kid happened to be playing in the EYBL, which is the Nike circuit.
Nice.
And they showed interest in wanting to come to Columbus and being in our program. I think the coach realized, kind of what I do for a living, and then our program at Columbus. And, because there was a team from France that was competing in the Nike circuit. And they showed interest and reached out, and he was able to come over and join us. So for me, it's great. And then just, my connections, whether it's international or even here in the U.S., just from my career and what I've built, and all the people I can call and ask for, if there's anyone interested in coming to play in a high-level program. So that's pretty much how we got him. But, when you win, it becomes attractive, and people are watching, and then a lot of times they're calling us and asking us if they can come.
Where is Florida? Where is South Florida right now with basketball? Where do we stand?
I mean, I think we're, at least, with teams like us, Westminster Academy, Riviera, couple.
You know the coach from Riviera?
Yeah.
Tony.
Yeah. Why?
No, just messing with our boy.
Yeah. I think the players that those programs have had and the ability and the level. I think we're right up there. You know, sometimes I have traveled the country and thought like, you know, we're a little behind, but I think we're right there. You know, obviously we got to continue building and continue growing and continue to build up young coaches, because I think coaching is important. When you go to some areas of the country, there's a lot of good coaches in that area, and I think again, building up young coaches and having them, teaching them how to kind of build up high-level players, because everyone thinks when you get high-level players, you just automatically win. No. And sometimes it could be the most difficult, just because all those players have personal goals as well, and they're looking at those, which is nothing wrong with that. And you want to help them get to those, and then also mix it in with those team goals. So I think it's kind of understanding what your player is looking for and understanding what he wants individually and also what he wants as a team. At the end of the day, it's a team sport. So I think we're right there with the rest of the country, if you ask me. Even all of Florida. I mean, I think we got quite a few good teams in terms of a national scale, you know?
Do you think this is sustainable going forward in the future?
Yeah,
because you have
so.
the Boozer brothers, you have the Richardsons, so you know their dads played in the league, they live down here. But is that going to stay consistent down here in South Florida? Because South Florida hasn't been known for basketball in high school at that level.
I mean, I guess not for a while. I would say back in the day it was pretty well known.
Yeah, in the 80s and 90s. Yeah. And then it had died off a little bit.
Right. I mean, I know for a fact, if we're just speaking off of children of NBA players, there's quite a few NBA and ex-NBA players who live here. Right. So if that's one way we continue to make it grow, I think that's right there. Right. And but I do think, obviously, dominantly we've been a football and baseball, you know, area. Mm-hmm. Obviously, some of the best players in football come out of South Florida. You know, you were able to play a little bit of football. You know what I mean? But I think the basketball has grown, and now there's a lot of kids playing basketball at a young age. Sure. Before I think most kids would start with football, and then eventually, maybe they trickle over to basketball. I don't know if it's even, but we definitely got a good group of kids that are starting in basketball.
So what are your thoughts on reclassification, these players reclassifying?
I mean, if it's for specifically, I think the number one reason for reclassification should be physical development. Sometimes kids physically they develop a little later, and maybe giving them that extra year of development physically and also skill-wise. But I think the most important reason should be that. Sure. Should be physical development, because they're, you know, as you can see now, some kids are going to mid majors and low-level Division I's, you know, doing really well, and then going to high Division I's, right? So sometimes if you allow kids to develop, you know, they're a lot better than you initially thought, right? You know, so I don't see, I mean, it has been abused, and you know, but I don't see.
There's been a lot of.
I don't see anything necessarily wrong if it's done for the right reasons. Right reasons.
So I have a really good question for you, and I know you always give it to me straight, sometimes too straight. Should LeBron's son be in the NBA?
Yeah.
You think? I'm asking you. You think is he good enough to be in the NBA?
I coached against him a couple of times. I mean, if I'm going to give my assessment on it right now, I think he could be at the moment, a really, really good 3-and-D guy, you know? And he plays basketball the right way. I was able to coach him against him, well, I think 2 or 3 times, you know? The kid plays hard, defends, really worked on his shot and has improved his three-point shot and plays the right way. He's making plays for each other. He's making plays for his teammates. He's playing to win. Go ahead.
So would you have liked to see him maybe get his shot on another team? Because everyone's talking about it, right? Why did the Lakers pick him up? Is it because LeBron is there? Or is it because it's just his son? Why would you think it was a better idea for him to get picked up by somebody else?
I mean,
and then see what he could do on a team without his dad being there. I mean, it's a conversation online right now. Everybody's talking about it.
I know, and everyone's talking about, well, but everyone who's a father would help their son.
Absolutely.
That we agree on.
Everyone is going to try to put their son in position to be successful, correct? Because I'm going to do the same for my kids. Maybe it's not in basketball, but whatever job or business or whatever it is that they're happening to be focused on, I'm going to use my connections and my relationships to be able to put them in certain positions. Now, once they get there, it's their job to excel and do what they got to do. But as far as that narrative, I mean, we can go through front offices in the NBA, and I think we can see sons working everywhere in those positions, and no one's saying much about that.
That is true. I'll give you that. Well, I just feel like it's a hot topic on social media.
Yeah.
You know, and
So
everybody has a different story.
I want to rephrase the question. So if you're in the front office, remove LeBron. LeBron doesn't exist. Are you taking him where the Lakers took him?
I mean, maybe, I'm not a front office person, so
Good answer.
I think that's difficult. I'm more of a coach. I'm not much of a, I'm not a GM.
Right.
Maybe one day I'll be a GM.
And you're trying not to piss off any GMs either in this conversation, because you're trying to get a job. Let's just cut the bullshit. Okay? I know you. These answers are very clean right now. Super clean. And this is not the way you normally talk.
Whether I draft him or not,
Yeah.
from what I've seen of Bronny,
Yeah.
from when he was in Miami as a young kid playing basketball to where he is now,
Yeah.
and it's there. You could tell the work has been put in.
Right.
He does put the work in. He does work hard, but my thing is he plays hard and he plays the right way. There's a lot of guys not in the NBA that are good enough to be in the NBA.
Sure.
But there's guys in the NBA that figured out how do I fit in on a team.
Yeah.
Play a
and
role.
I think he can figure that out.
Yeah, I think the knock on him is the upside. His defense a little bit in the pick and roll has been the biggest thing.
Well, I don't know if I think the knock on him is that he happens to be LeBron's son.
Right.
And everyone's upset that
the hype.
he was drafted
Right.
and thinking that it was LeBron's influence. But whether it was or not, again, I'm going to go back to everyone's going to do what they can for their own child.
Any father would. Right?
Yeah.
Any good father would.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Whether it's,
Yeah.
everyone's going to use their influence to help their children.
Right.
So we know that you know where the Boozer brothers are going to go to school next year. So why don't you tell us?
I do not know. I do not know. I really wish that
Come
I
on,
did
break
know.
it here, man. We're trying to make it.
We're trying to.
I do not know.
I
when.
brought you here so you could give me some top tip news so we
That
can
was
go.
the aspiration.
We can go viral here.
That was the aspiration. We talked about it yesterday. It's like, we got to get him to talk about it.
I would love to know that. They're a very private family, and they've done an excellent job of keeping it to themselves. And I'm not sure that they've actually made a final decision. I think the schools the last 3 schools that have been recruiting them and that they've trickled down to, they've said these are the last 3 that we're going to choose from. I think every one of those coaching staffs has done an excellent job of building a good relationship with them. And I think the boys legitimately are having a tough time with their decision.
Can you tell us what those 3 schools are?
Yeah, it was University of Florida, University of Miami, and Duke.
Oh, so you're saying Coach Larinaga has a chance? Come
I mean,
on,
he's
Coach
down
L.
to-
You see how we got him to go? He has no
Come
idea.
on, Coach
And
L.
Now we got him to finalize.
We need the
last
brothers
3.
to stay in
Well,
Miami.
I mean, they put that out there. Those were the last 3 visits
Yeah,
that
it's out there. It's out
that
there.
they went on. But again, I think every one of those coaching staffs did a really good job. I respect every one of them.
Do you feel like it doesn't matter where they go, they're going to be just fine?
I think so, and I can tell you one thing: wherever they go, that team's going to be winning. Because those guys are winners, and they will figure it out and do whatever it takes.
Well, I can tell you from experience, me going to Florida State, my mom having travel, every game back and forth. She would drive 8 hours that way, 8 hours this way after she got out of work. That's a lot. So I believe now, as a player, you should try to stay close to home Number one, because you're going to make a lot of relationships. So if you go to school across the country, let's say you go to Stanford, okay, you're going to meet a lot of Stanford people, but once you're done with school, how do you keep up with all those people, right? Because now they're on the other side of the country.
Right.
You know, people don't think about that. But if you stay local, you just meet so many people that basketball will come to an end. Football came to an end for me. Sports will come to an end. Now you got life after sports. Right? Where are those relationships at now?
Yeah, some of the Florida State people get mad at you because your relationship with the UM coach.
Yeah, they don't.
I get mad at him.
Look, I'm a Florida State guy, but, you know.
Stan Jones said, you know, what's up with Zeus?
But, you know, I think it's important. Not important, but it does help a lot to be close to home. For those relationships, for your family to be able to go to the game. Let's say you got a big family. Your mom has 2 or 3 kids. You got aunts, uncles. Well, how are you going to get there, you know, 2 or 3 times a week?
I think that's part of what has, you know, that being one of their final options. I think that has a lot to do with it. You know, but, you know, the other schools have had I think, and are intriguing as well, just because of
Duke.
because of their
let's be honest,
their
like,
success and
Their dad went there too.
Again, I think it's a tough decision for them. What I'm excited for is for them to, you know, really, it's a big decision, you know. You know, I think these are decisions that help you grow as a person, because, like I said, all the staff have done a great job in creating a good relationship that will probably be there even though they don't go to those schools. As they, you know, coaches move around. Maybe some coaches go to the NBA. Maybe one day they're with those coaches later. You know what I'm saying? So I think those guys have truly built good, solid relationships with the brothers.
Well, for those that don't know, Boozer Sr. actually went to Duke.
Yeah, he did.
So we don't know if he's got his hand in there like, hey, you know, this is a great school. And by the way, you can't blame him if he does, right?
This is where you're going.
Yeah, you can't.
I don't know.
No, it sounds like those kids are going to make up their own decision. But at the end of the day, Florida, Duke, Miami, I don't think you can go wrong with any of those schools.
No.
Great programs, great history, all of them.
And you know, you said, speaking of home, their mom, you know, they got a really wonderful relationship with their mother, you know. So
she's a good woman.
I don't know what they'll do, you know. I know that wherever they go, she'll be there to support them every step of the way. So.
Well, she lives 10 minutes from UM, so it'll be an easy drive. Easy drive. She knows. She's watching probably.
Absolutely. What are your thoughts on the state of Florida passed that NILs are now allowed in high school at the high school level? But what are your thoughts in general about the NIL, and has the NIL impacted high school basketball yet down here?
I don't think it's have had a huge impact yet.
Okay.
I think it will impact in some ways. I think people are a little confused as to, you know, speaking of NIL, I think, you know, there is some money to be made, but the only way to make that money is continue to be good at your craft, you know. And, you know, the highest ranked players and the top most popular players, you know, will be the ones that, you know, will make the most money.
Benefit from it,
But I don't think like everyone's just going to be dishing out money to kids.
Right.
In my opinion, I could be wrong.
Right.
But I don't see anything wrong with it. I remember, you know, specifically college players. I remember when I was at Florida State, and there were players who were extremely good on the basketball team, and I think they played overseas, but they could have made a ton of money while they were in school just from their popularity and the way they impacted the community. So I think it's great if someone is in college and makes. There's some guys make. Let's say they made $250,000. Like, it's not a bad foundation to start your life on.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
That's a lot of money for a college student.
That's what I'm saying. And a lot of them are. There's some getting much more than that. You know. But I'm just saying. Let's say it's $50,000.
Right.
I mean, come on. That's if an 18-year-old kid has the opportunity to make, you know, obviously legally or whatever, and it could help them set them up, you know, in life. I think that's huge. I mean, the same thing I would love to do for my kids. You know, obviously I work to support my family, but also doing things to be able to maybe help them up, set them up a little bit financially to get started. You know, so if kids can make money at that age, and obviously the most important thing is the people around them, not just the problem that comes in is the money comes in and they think it's going to keep coming in and it's just all spent. I think that's what should be the biggest concern.
Absolutely.
What are you doing with the money? Are there people around you? Are you just spending it? And that's going to be hard. And people think money just keeps coming in, and at some point it doesn't.
I do agree that they should get paid, because if they're producing money for the program, I think they should get paid at some level. I do believe that there needs to be some type of regulation. Look at the quarterback from Nevada. He's sitting out. 3 games in, they've only paid him $3,000. They owe him like 90-something thousand. He says, I'm not playing the next game. USC, a defensive end, sitting out this week, saying that they're not paying the NIL money. So it's creating a precedent in the sport that's never been seen. And for me, it's taking away the purity from college athletics. Hopefully, they find the solution to it, because now it's just become a straight business, and it's just not good for the game, in my opinion, from that standpoint. I do believe players deserve to make some money if they're producing money for the school, but there needs to be some type of, right now it's the Wild Wild West.
Right. I think there's some regulations coming, from what I hear. Again, I don't know all the details, but apparently there's going to be some sort of cap at some point, but I don't
I've heard the same
know
thing
how
too.
that would work, but the NCAA has been making a lot of money for quite some time.
They done well.
Yeah. We don't disagree with that.
Since we're talking about money, why don't you tell the viewers about your summer camps? About your summer camps also, but about your travel team also, right?
Yeah,
Your
definitely.
summer camps are famous. They're super hot.
Right. I coach at Columbus, but my main, I guess my job or my career is my academy, Miami Hoop School. This is one location where kids are able to come and train, and we want to build those kids up skill-wise, and like I said, also character-wise as well. So that's one way, that I would love for anyone, if their kids interested in training, to come check it out. The first time is free. You go to the first day, it's free. Check it out. If you like it, you sign up. It's a monthly fee. There's also other ways. We do private sessions and small group sessions, And then I have my summer camp in the summer, which I do over at Columbus High School, which is a lot of fun. Kids train the first part of the day, and then we play games in the second part, and I think they really enjoy it. And then speaking of the travel, so I coach at Columbus, but we do a lot of stuff out of season. And we call it our Los Explorers, which is, for example, this preseason, we're doing about 4 events. One, we've already been to San Diego. We're going to Orlando. We're going to Memphis. We're going to Vegas. Just to prepare us, we want to be prepared for the season, because we're going to play the top teams in the country. So outside of the season, you can't use school funding. So what we did is we created a nonprofit, and we want people to get involved in helping out. Yes, a lot of that money goes to travel and flights and food, transportation, but we also have tutors for these kids. We go on the road a lot, so they do miss school. So we do have tutors that we hire. We have tutors. Lucky enough for us, one of our assistant coaches is a tutor, so he travels with us and helps the kids on the road. But just having to have that financial support to be able to back and support the opportunities for these kids. We went to an event. We were able to go to San Diego. It's across the country. That's expensive. It's an NCAA certified event, so there's going to be college coaches there, and it's an NBA certified event. So there's NBA scouts.
Nice.
These are the platforms that we want these kids to be able to play on. So what we're trying to do is go into the community. Obviously, I've asked you. You've been able to support, and we really appreciate that. And some people think, I can't give that. Well, you don't have to give a lot. You get 100 people giving $50. It goes a long way. Obviously, there's other people that have the opportunity to give a lot more, but we just want to continue to grow the program and continue to provide opportunities for kids that maybe they wouldn't have had. Obviously, another cool thing about the Boozers is they've brought light to a lot of the other players around them, specifically Malik Abdullahi, who we had for we've been training him since 7th grade. and he played for us 4 years on varsity at Columbus, and now went to Princeton. I mean, that's like
Big.
for him to go to Princeton and play basketball. You talk about life after basketball and the connections and the networks and the friendships that he
Doesn't
will
get
make,
better than that.
that he will make there. I mean, we're extremely proud of that. So I think it's a group effort, and when we get the community involved, I think it just makes everything all better.
So where can people go find? Where can they go and donate for your non-for-profit? What's the name?
It's called Los Explorers Inc.
Okay.
If you do Los Explorers Inc. at gmail.com, you could Zelle any type of money you want there. Obviously, we accept checks. People can reach out to me however they see fit. You can get my email, send me an email. We're going to be doing some events in the community. We're going to probably do a golf tournament. We're going to do some happy hours, and we're going to do some other different events just to kind of bring everyone in and be able to, make them also feel part of the program as they support us, get to know some of the kids. We also do a lot of, with the kids, we're doing a lot more community service stuff. So we want to be able to show that. And yes, you're supporting the kids, and look, the kids are giving back in their own way at this time as well.
I think inviting the kids to the games, letting those kids, meet the players, that's huge.
Yeah.
That's huge. And that's what I'm encouraging the parents to take your kids to the game, because, again, you don't know if you're ever going to be able to see these guys play live.
Right.
And it's a show.
Right.
So definitely try to make a game.
Lazo, can we put the link once we post? Can you spell it out just so?
Yeah, Los Explorers Inc.
Okay.
at gmail.com. So it's LOS
Okay.
EXPLORERSINC at gmail.com.
You can spell.
I think we got it.
I did all right in the spelling bees.
Another probably be one of the last things we talk about. But
Well, I got a couple follow-ups.
oh, you do?
Yeah. Well, so obviously one of the things that I want to know is, you said that you have a couple players that they emulate, like Jamal Murray, things like that, or that you see that. What's your coaching style after? And then secondly, how do you evolve to be able to coach so many different types of athletic abilities? Like, how do you keep that more dynamic for them to be able to work as one machine?
Yeah, well, what we preach right away is winning teams share the ball and winning teams defend. So that's where we're starting. That's going to be our emphasis, no matter if you're the best player or you're guy coming off the bench. No matter if you're the focal point of our team or you're playing a maybe not the role you want at the moment, but this is a role, like, our foundation is we're going to do it together, and that's how we've always done it. That's how we've had our success, and we're going to continue to build on that. So I also think I have a really good staff that communicates with the players, builds relationships. If you build those relationships, the players trust you. And I don't just mean a basketball relationship.
Of course.
I mean a true relationship where they understand that you care for their well-being, not just how they perform on the court. And I think year in and year out, we try to get better in those areas. And there's always room for improvement. And sometimes it takes a little bit of time for guys to buy in, but eventually they buy in. And when your leaders buy in, most of the time, everyone follows after that. So just, understanding you need different types of players to win. You need different pieces. We do try to, build a team where, guys complement each other as well.
Right.
So I think those are some areas where we've been able to mix it all in, have guys compete, different skill sets, different mindsets, and still have a lot of success.
Nice. And then who do you take after as far as, like, your coaching style? Like, what do you say?
So I would say first of all, my work ethic. I learned my work ethic from Marcus Carreño.
Nice.
The countless hours that I saw him put in was impressive. And then just because I've had the ability to be around some high-level coaches, if you watch Coach Larrañaga and the relationships that he has with his players and the confidence that he gives his players, I think is was really what I've taken from him.
Nice.
I think his players play with the utmost confidence, and he makes them feel like they're an all-star in the NBA. And then another guy that I've built a strong relationship with is Dusty May, who just got the job at University of Michigan. What I've really enjoyed is just the unselfishness of his team. His offensive style is really impressive to me. I've tried to take a lot from him and then just ask him how he communicates and how he gets everyone to buy in as well. I'm really excited for him. He went from FAU to Michigan. My mom happened to go to Michigan, so I'm excited for him to see how he's gonna do. So those are just a couple guys that I've, emulated. You're only as, obviously I believe myself to be a high-level coach and really talented, and when you're able to get really talented players, it's a lot of fun. You have a lot of success. You learn so much. You become better as a coach because you have to figure out not only just have success with them, but how to challenge them,
Right.
how to make them better. Not just, hey, he's good, he's going to stay here. No, when he leaves me, is he a much better player than when he got here? So,
Amazing.
Coach Bronny used to tell his coaches, I'm not so interested on your coaching ability. I'm more interested in your recruiting ability.
Yeah.
Right? Can you bring in the talent? Right? Because anybody can coach, but can you actually bring in the talent? And then what do you do with that talent?
Right.
But that was his thing. You had to be able to recruit. How do you attract people to come play for you? So I know you're good at that right now.
well, what I notice is the compliments that our team gets and our coaching staff gets is, I think, the unselfishness of the team, even with the talent that we have. And to me, that's like,
But you got them to buy in.
right. But
They bought what you were selling.
correct. And I think that's attractive to other players. So, again, what I said in the beginning, right away we're preaching, you're not doing it by yourself. And you're not just doing it on the offensive end. Yes, we're going to be really good at offense. Yes, we're going to play extremely fast. Yes, you're going to get dunks. You're going to get lobs. It's going to be a lot of fun. But if you don't defend, the same thing's going to happen to you because we're playing high-level players. So we're right away, the defensive effort is mixed in with the high-level offense. It's got to go hand in hand. If not, you might have some success, but you won't have as much as you want.
And I think we covered a lot.
Yeah. I got one last question. I actually got two questions. The hottest topic right now, I would say one of the hottest topics in basketball right now is Cooper Flagg. What's your thoughts on him? And what do you see his NBA future like?
You guys have played against him a couple times, right?
Yeah, we played against him a couple times. We beat him, he beat us a couple times, and we've beat him. I mean, he's extremely high-level talent, His ability to read the game and make plays and show up in big games and do really well and be consistent. I think he's got a really bright future in the NBA. I'm pretty sure at the moment, if you look at mock drafts, I'm pretty sure he's projected number one pick.
Number one player, yeah.
So, well, for me, what was impressive for me was his defensive ability and his blocking. I mean, he had a couple triple doubles in the EYBL circuit and was scoring, rebounding, blocks.
Yeah.
So
Is his talent comparable? The last generational talent was LeBron, right? Like that's what they say. Is he comparable to that? Because you hear talks of that.
I mean, well let's
I know.
Let's be a little patient.
Yeah.
See, that's the Andrew that I know right there. I was waiting for something like that. There
Exactly.
you go.
Let's just be a little bit patient.
Okay. All right.
But the kid's projected number one pick.
Right.
So he's going to be
It's really
special.
Yeah.
Extremely good,
Sure. So what's the future looking like for you in the next 5-10 years? Where do you see yourself in your basketball career?
Loaded.
I mean, if I'm at Columbus, it's again to continue to compete at the highest level that we can compete at, and try to be, again, try to continue to win, you know, consecutive years in a row. And I don't know, maybe if some other opportunities come my way.
So you want to coach?
They, you know, fit, you know, what I'm looking for, and it makes sense for me and my family. I'm certainly going to take a look at it. Yeah.
Sure.
So being a college coach and an NBA coach, it's part of your plan? Is that something that you eventually want to do?
I mean, I think every coach at some point wants to challenge themselves at next levels, you know? So if those opportunities come, like I said, I do have a beautiful life with my family here in Miami. So it would, you know, a lot of things would have to fall into place for me to kind of take my family out. But it's definitely something that has become a little more, I don't know what the word is, but I'm sure some opportunities will be coming at some point, and we'll just have to take them and look at them as they come and see if it works.
So state champs or bust? I mean, is that the goal? I mean, anything less than that?
Yeah.
Is that the mindset going into the
100%.
Got it.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah. I mean, and then we want to win Chipotle Nationals. And we're not looking ahead. Those are our two goals, and to get to one, you got to get the other. So we didn't shy away from that the first year when we got our first state championship, when we were young and everyone was like, oh, they're young, they'll be good later. And we told the kids, I know maybe this is what you're hearing or this is what people are saying, but we're going to be good this year and we're going to win. And lucky enough, we came out with a 1-point victory and won in the first ever state championship for Columbus.
Called it. Good deal.
Awesome. Well, listen, I think we covered a lot. Got some answers we wanted, some we didn't. But that's all right, man. We thank you for doing this, man. We really appreciate it, and we wish you luck. And I know that you guys are going to get the job done this season.
Thanks, man. Appreciate you guys having me on. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you, man.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Beyond the narrative. Beyond the narrative. Best in class, so pray for my peers. Slingshot bullet that's clear. Your weak shots couldn't pierce through bulletproof ears. A martyr, a menace. I'm leading horses to drink and pulling teeth like I'm feeding the dentist. Beyond the narrative.